placement was at Manor Lodge Community Primary and Nursery School, which is situated on Manor Lane. Manor Lodge is a public primary school with around 380 pupils from all different cultural backgrounds. It's not far from town, and the area surrounding the school is lower to working class. I chose to do my placement here because in the future I want to be a primary school teacher. So going into the placement, I wanted to get a better understanding of the different subjects. I also wanted to improve my confidence as it was something I struggled with. During my first week, I was given this timetable to follow. I was able to see a variety of PE lessons, which allowed me to see how it is different through the years. When I wasn't in PE, I was helping in Year 1 with subjects like maths, English and reading. During dinners, I would help with managing behaviour, cutting children's food and getting drinks. As you can see, I was also on a school trip. This was to Manor Lodge Castle and it was very fun. My first learning outcome was to demonstrate good subject and curriculum knowledge. During my first week, I solely focused on PE lessons and spent little time in the classroom. This allowed me to gain a greater understanding of the subject, considering this is what I want to specialise in. I learnt how it differentiates within the years, and I was able to observe many different teaching styles the teachers used. However, in the following weeks, I decided to spend my days in the classroom observing a variety of lessons being taught. This enabled me to get a different perspective on how classroom lessons are taught, which helped me broaden my knowledge in other subjects. My second learning outcome was to gain confidence leading small groups of pupils. Because of my lack of confidence in the classroom setting, I wanted to be able to try and lead a small group of activities with pupils. During my placement, I went on a school trip, and whilst on the trip I was in charge of a small group of pupils, taking them around different activities, and on there I had to implement the expectations that the teachers had set out for the pupils in order for them to behave and be respectful. During the activities, I would help get involved and help guide them through each one, encouraging them to work together as a team in order to complete the task successfully. Looking at York and Knight's aspects of employability, as you can see, it's split into 3 different categories: personal qualities, core skills and process skills. On placement, I felt that I was really able to improve my stress tolerance. This is because during the first few days I was very stressed and overwhelmed as I didn't know anyone, I didn't know what to do and I didn't know what to expect. But over the next few weeks I became very good at working under pressure and in stressful situations whilst being able to remain calm. I was also able to develop my creativity because when in lessons there are many things that can go wrong and there may not be the right equipment, and being able to think creatively and make adaptations quick can help save the lesson. For example, during a PE lesson we needed to use blindfolds for an activity. However, they'd been used a few days ago and no one had known where they'd been placed. The teacher was saying that there's nothing we could use and we might have to change the activity. But instead I suggested that we use bibs and tie them around pupils' heads instead, and it worked really well. The final skill I was able to develop was my teamwork. This is because at Manor Lodge all the teachers work together in order to make sure it is a great learning place for children. But also in the integrated resources, the teachers work as a team to ensure SEND pupils learn and have the same experience as the rest of the pupils. And during my placement, I had to work as a team with the TAs, especially at lunch and break times, to manage behaviour, help children with food orders, cutting the food and getting them drinks. This helps it run very efficiently. So my future aspects were to become a PE teacher in a primary school. So what I wanted to do in the future, I want to carry on volunteering at Manor Lodge. This is because I believe I have much more to work on. I need to improve my teaching skills. I would do this by delivering and teaching my own PE sessions so that I can find a teaching style that works for me. And then from there, I would be able to get feedback from the teachers so I can understand my strengths and what my areas for improvement are. From there is something that I've already been looking into, which is supply agencies as a teacher assistant. This is because it would allow me to gain a lot more insight into different schools, which could help me learn a variety of different skills that are key to becoming a teacher. This could potentially allow me to gain a qualification as a TA, which in return would make me more employable for future positions. Looking at the experiential learning cycle from Kolb, it's something that teachers use to critically evaluate and use in lessons to learn from their experiences so they can continually improve lessons and their teaching styles. During a PE lesson with the year ones, I had noticed that once they had been set off for a task, they would become bored quickly and become disengaged from the task. I then realised this is because there weren't any adaptation to the lesson, so everyone was doing the same activity, even though they all had different abilities. Some needed more of a challenge, whereas some needed the lesson to be easier. So after seeing this, I had a discussion with the teacher about what the issue was. We made changes, and the sessions following this ran much more smoothly as we was able to add different activities to allow the pupils different levels. One aspect I decided to focus on more was the special educational needs and disabilities. This was something that was quite prevalent at the school. Quite a lot of the pupils had SEND needs. Special educational needs and disabilities refers to a child or a young person that has a learning difficulty or disability, meaning they need special health and education support. Over 1.6 pupils in England have educational needs. This is an increase of 101,000 from 2023. Manor Lodge are a part of the Sheffield South East Trust, along with many other primary schools. They all shared the same policies, and that these closely follow the legislation from the Equality Act, which makes it unlawful to discriminate people with a protected characteristic. The school does this by promoting respect for diversity and challenges negative stereotyping, and during lessons they always educate pupils on treating everyone equally. They also make sure teaching is of the highest quality to ensure children reach their potential, and all children are given equal entitlement to success. They also offer equal opportunities for pupils to get involved in extracurricular activities, whether it be breakfast club, after school club, or sports clubs they have. Some of the challenges that the SEND pupils face in school is inactivity. Only a third of children with SEND take part in less than 30 minutes of activity a day during the term time. This is from an article from Youth Sport Trust. Also, only a quarter of pupils with SEND say they always take part in sport. This is compared to 41% of children without SEND. This could be for a number of reasons, one of which could be that the PE environment can be very stimulating and sensory for all students. Therefore, it can also conflict with the sensory needs of students with SEND. For example, we had a student in the year 1 class who suffers with auditory sensory things, and when you're in the PE classroom it can be very loud and he gets very overwhelmed and stressed. We always give him the option to join in, but he much prefers to sit on the side and wear ear defenders to block out as much sound as possible. Our school has many positive. The school I went to, I heard many conversations around SEN. There was a mixture of positive and negative. Some of the positives were that teachers were giving the SEN pupils opportunities they may not normally have, such as riding bikes, which helps them learn skills such as balancing and coordination. Some of the pupils were able to even ride the bikes. Another positive was that during the afternoon, the SEN pupils are able to go on something called group. This is where they can go outside in the playground they can do whatever they want, and it's just a break from the classroom. It allows them to emotionally regulate themselves so that when they go back into the classroom they have improved focus and attention. Along with this, in the classroom they had a calm zone with sensory toys so they can regulate themselves and calm down. This seems to work well, as during the lessons they can use it as they please. They can go to the calm zone, go back to lesson, and it helps them focus a lot. On the other hand, another conversation I heard many times was that there wasn't enough support in the integrated resources. This is for STEM pupils who cannot be in the classroom environment all the time. Teachers were saying there isn't enough staff down there to help manage pupils' behaviour needs, and many of the STEM pupils differ quite a lot. So I think to improve this in the future, the school should make sure all teachers are qualified to help deal with STEM pupils. Not only this, but they also need to hire the staff that they are missing, as they stated they are missing 12 staff. So they do need to hire more staff and make sure they are qualified in STEM. Thank you for listening to my presentation.